I realized I'd been erased from my own family when my aunt asked my mother, "Linda, I could have sworn you had 2 daughters. Am I losing my mind?" We were standing in my parents' living room during a 4th of July barbecue. I was literally 10 feet away, holding a plate of potato salad. My aunt was staring at a family photo on the mantel, a beach vacation from 5 years ago. In the original photo, it was me, my sister Claire, and our parents. In the version hanging on the wall, there were only 3 people: my sister, my parents. The space where I'd been standing was filled with extended beach and sky, seamlessly edited as if I'd never existed. My mother looked my aunt directly in the eye and said, "You must be thinking of someone else. I only have Claire." I dropped my plate. Potato salad splattered across the hardwood floor. Everyone turned to look at me, and my mother's expression didn't change. She looked at me like I was a stranger who'd made a mess in her home. My name is Olivia Chen. I'm 31 years old, and this is the story of how my mother systematically erased me from every family photograph in her house, replaced them with professionally photoshopped versions that removed me completely, and then proceeded to gaslight anyone who questioned whether I existed. This is the story of how I discovered she'd been doing it for over a year, how she'd convinced half the family I was lying about being her daughter, and how I finally proved the truth in the most public way possible. This is about digital erasure, family gaslighting, and learning that sometimes the cruelest thing a parent can do isn't hit you or scream at you, it's pretending you were never born. I grew up in San Diego in what looked like a normal family. My father, David, is an accountant. My mother, Linda, is a real estate agent. My older sister, Claire, is 3 years older than me and has always been the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect career as a pediatric surgeon, perfect husband, perfect twins. I'm a graphic designer, unmarried, no kids, and apparently a massive disappointment to my mother because of it. The favoritism started early. Claire got elaborate birthday parties while I got cake at home. Claire got a car at 16 while I took the bus. Claire's college was fully paid while I worked through school. I'd made peace with it, mostly, kept my distance, visited a few times a year, maintained a cordial relationship. I thought the worst of it was just preferential treatment. I had no idea it would escalate to literal erasure. The first time I noticed something was off was about 18 months before the barbecue incident. I'd stopped by my parents' house unannounced to drop off a birthday gift for my dad. My mother answered the door, and her face did something strange when she saw me, a flash of annoyance, almost like I'd caught her doing something wrong. "Olivia, we weren't expecting you." "I know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to drop this off for Dad's birthday." "He's not here. I'll give it to him." She took the gift and started to close the door. I caught it. "Mom, can I come in for a minute? I need to use the bathroom." She hesitated, then stepped aside. As I walked through the living room toward the bathroom, I glanced at the wall of family photos like I'd done 1,000 times before. Something felt off, but I couldn't place it. The photos looked right, but also wrong, like when you rearrange furniture and your brain knows something changed, but can't identify what. I used the bathroom, said goodbye to my mother, and left. It wasn't until I was driving home that it hit me. The Christmas photo from 2 years ago, the one where all 4 of us were wearing matching ugly sweaters. In my memory, I was standing between my parents. In the version on the wall, there were only 3 people. I told myself I was misremembering, that it had always been a photo of just my parents and Claire, but the doubt gnawed at me. A few weeks later, I went back. This time, I studied the photos carefully. The beach vacation picture, I knew I'd been in that one because I remembered the photographer, a tourist from Germany who'd offered to take it. Now, it showed only 3 people. The Thanksgiving photo from last year, where I'd worn that ridiculous turkey hat, gone. I wasn't in it. My parents and Claire were seated at a table set for 3. I took out my phone and started photographing the photos on the walls. Then I went home and dug through my own photo albums, both physical and digital. And there I was. In every original version, I existed. Beach vacation, I was standing on the left in a blue sundress. Thanksgiving, I was at the head of the table in that stupid turkey hat, laughing. Christmas, I was between my parents holding up a mug of hot chocolate. My mother had taken the original photos and digitally removed me from every single one. Then she'd printed the edited versions, framed them, and hung them throughout the house. She erased me. I called Claire. We had a complicated relationship. She'd always been Mom's favorite, and that created distance between us, but she was still my sister. Claire, have you been to Mom and Dad's house recently? Yeah, I was there last week for dinner. Why? Did you notice anything weird about the family photos? The photos? No, why? Claire, I'm not in them anymore. Silence. Then, carefully, what do you mean you're not in them? I mean, Mom has edited me out of every family photo in the house, professionally, photoshopped me out and replaced all the pictures. Olivia, that's insane. Why would she do that? I don't know, but I have proof. I took pictures of the photos on her walls, and I have the originals. I'm in the originals. I'm not in her versions. Maybe you're misremembering. I'm not misremembering. Claire, I have both versions. I can send them to you right now. I did. I sent her side-by-side comparisons. Beach photo with me, beach photo without me. Christmas photo with me, Christmas photo without me. 6 different photos, 12 images total. Irrefutable proof that someone had deliberately removed me from my own family history. Claire called me back 30 minutes later. Her voice was shaken. Olivia, what the fuck? I know. Those photos are professionally edited, like really well done. This wasn't just someone cropping you out. Someone paid money to have you digitally removed and the backgrounds filled in seamlessly. I know. Why would Mom do this? You need to ask her that. Claire said she would talk to our mother. She called me the next day. I asked her about the photos. And? She said I was mistaken, that you were never in those photos, that you're making it up for attention. She's gaslighting both of us now. Olivia, I saw the proof. I know you were in those photos. I have my own copies of the originals, and you're in them. But Mom is flat out denying it. She's saying you have a victim complex and you photoshopped yourself into old family photos to make her look bad. I actually laughed. It was so absurd. I photoshopped myself into photos that I appear in across multiple people's cameras and social media accounts from years ago? I'm just telling you what she said. What do you believe? Long pause. I believe you, but Olivia, I don't know what to do about it. She's in complete denial. I decided to confront my mother directly. Made an appointment to come over, told her I needed to talk. When I arrived, my father was there too. Good. I wanted him to hear this. Mom, I know what you did. She looked at me with perfect innocence. What I did? The photos. You edited me out of every family photo in this house. Olivia, I have no idea what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone. Beach Vacation 2018. Here's the original where I'm standing on the left. Here's the version hanging on your mantle where I don't exist. I showed them both phones, side by side. My father's face went pale. My mother's expression didn't change. That's obviously fake. You've edited yourself into an old photo. Mom, I have the metadata. I have the original files from your camera. I have copies that other people took on their phones. I have social media posts from 2018 where this photo is tagged with all 4 of us. You can't gaslight me on this. I think you need to see someone. This obsession with being in photos is unhealthy. I turned to my father. Dad, you were there. Beach Vacation 2018. Was I there? He looked between me and my mother. I could see him deciding. Then he said, quietly, I don't remember. My mother had gotten to him first. She'd convinced him to lie, or he was too afraid to contradict her. Either way, I was on my own. You're both going to sit here and pretend I wasn't there? Dad, I got sunburned so badly that trip that I spent 2 days in the hotel room with aloe vera. You brought me soup. Are you telling me you don't remember that? A lot of trips blur together. This is insane. You're gaslighting me. My mother stood up. I think you should leave. You're being dramatic and accusatory, and I won't tolerate it in my home. Your home that's decorated with fake family photos that erase me from existence? Olivia, leave. Now. I left, sat in my car, and cried for an hour. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Jessica Park, and she specialized in family law and emotional abuse cases. I explained the situation. Can I sue her for this? For editing photos? That's tricky. The photos are her property. She can alter them if she wants. But isn't this emotional abuse? She's literally erasing me from family history. Emotionally, yes, it's incredibly harmful. Legally, it's harder to prove damages. But Olivia, I think the better question is, why? Why is she doing this? I don't know. Have you been estranged? Had a major fight? No, we're not close, but we're not enemies either. I see them a few times a year. I've never done anything that would warrant this. This level of systematic erasure suggests something deeper. This took time, money, and deliberate effort. She hired someone to professionally edit these photos. She had them reprinted and reframed. She hung them throughout her house. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. This was planned. What do I do? Document everything. Keep the originals, record conversations if you're in a one-party consent state, and consider going public. Sometimes the only way to fight gaslighting is with witnesses. That's when I decided to go to family events and see what happened. The next gathering was my cousin's graduation party at a restaurant. About 30 family members attended. I showed up. My mother's face when she saw me was pure rage, quickly masked. Throughout the party, I watched her, watched how she interacted with Claire, introducing her to people, bragging about her career, watched how she interacted with other family members, warm, engaging, social, and watched how she interacted with me, which was to completely ignore my existence. She literally looked through me. When I stood next to her in a group conversation, she moved away. When I tried to speak, she spoke over me. When family members addressed me, she redirected their attention. My Uncle Tom noticed, pulled me aside. Is everything okay between you and your mom? Why do you ask? She's acting like you're not here. She's been acting like I don't exist for over a year. I showed him the photos on my phone. Original versions with me, wall versions without me. His eyes went wide. Jesus Christ, has she said why? She denies doing it, says I'm making it up. But I'm looking at the proof right now. I know, she's gaslighting everyone. Uncle Tom went and looked at the photos on my parents' walls at their next dinner party. He came back to me confused and disturbed. I've seen the originals. I was at that beach vacation. You were there, I remember. And now, in her house, you just don't exist. Word spread through the family. Some people believed me, some people thought I was exaggerating or misremembering, some people thought I was having a mental breakdown. The family split into factions. My mother, realizing she was losing control of the narrative, went nuclear. She started telling people I had a psychological disorder, that I'd had a break with reality, that I was photoshopping myself into old family photos because I craved attention. She sent a mass email to the extended family explaining that I was struggling with some mental health issues and that they should be understanding if I make bizarre accusations. She was weaponizing mental health stigma to discredit me, making me look crazy so no one would believe the truth. That's when I decided to host my own family gathering, sent invitations to everyone. Photo evidence party, bring your own memories. About 20 people came, mostly cousins and aunts and uncles who'd known me whole life. I set up a projector and showed them the evidence. Original photos from multiple sources. My phone, Claire's phone, other relatives' phones, social media posts, cloud backups, every single one showing me present at family events. Then I showed them diversions hanging in my mother's house. The same photos, professionally edited to remove me. I'd even hired a digital forensics expert who confirmed the photos on my mother's walls had been altered, showing me the metadata and edit history. The room was silent. Then my Aunt Marie started crying. Linda did this? But why? I don't know. She won't tell me. This is abuse. This is psychological abuse. Other people nodded. Some looked uncomfortable, a few looked skeptical. They still didn't want to believe a mother would do this to her daughter, but the evidence was undeniable. Then I showed them the emails my mother had sent claiming I was mentally ill. She's trying to discredit me, to make you all think I'm crazy so you won't believe this is really happening. But you're looking at the proof. Multiple versions of the same photos. Me in the originals, me erased in her versions. Uncle Tom stood up. I believe Olivia. I've seen Linda's walls. I remember these events. Olivia was there, and someone went through a lot of trouble to make it look like she wasn't. That was the turning point. Once one person vocally supported me, others found their courage. By the end of the night, about 15 family members had committed to confronting my mother together. We chose the 4th of July barbecue. My mother couldn't refuse to host it. It was tradition, and she cared too much about appearances. Plus, there would be so many witnesses that she couldn't gaslight her way out of it. The day of the barbecue, I showed up with printouts, professional poster-sized prints of the side-by-side comparisons, original photos on the left, her edited versions on the right, with dates and metadata clearly visible. I waited until most people had arrived. Then I set up my display boards in the backyard where everyone could see. My mother saw them before I'd finished setting up. She went white. "What is this?" "This is the truth, Mom. Since you won't acknowledge it privately, I'm showing everyone publicly." "You're insane. Take those down." "No, everyone here deserves to know that you've spent over a year systematically erasing me from family history. They deserve to see the evidence." She tried to physically take down the boards. I stopped her. We struggled. People gathered around. My father came over. "Linda, stop. Just stop." She turned to him, betrayed. "You're taking her side?" "I'm taking the side of reality. I remember these events. Olivia was there. I don't know why you're doing this, but it needs to stop." That's when my aunt asked the question that started this story. "Linda, I could have sworn you had 2 daughters. Am I losing my mind?" My mother looked at the crowd, looked at the evidence boards, looked at me, and said, "You must be thinking of someone else. I only have Claire." The silence was deafening. Then Uncle Tom spoke up. "Linda, that's bullshit. Olivia is your daughter. She's been your daughter for 31 years, and everyone here knows it." My mother's composure cracked. "She's ungrateful, she's disrespectful, she's never been the daughter I wanted. So you erased her?" My Aunt Marie was furious now. "Because she didn't live up to your expectations, you literally removed her from family history?" "I gave her life, and she's never appreciated it. Always been difficult, always been different from Claire." "I'm different from Claire because I'm a different person." I was yelling now, all the hurt and confusion and anger from the past year pouring out. "I'm not Claire. I never will be, but I'm still your daughter. I still existed at all these events. You can't Photoshop me out of reality. I can do whatever I want in my own home." "But why, Mom? Why would you do this? What did I do that was so terrible you needed to pretend I was never born?" She stared at me with something that looked like hatred. "You want to know why? Because every time I look at you, I see my failure. Claire is everything I wanted. Successful, married, mother, perfect life. You're everything I couldn't fix. Single, no kids, wasting your potential on graphic design when you could have been a doctor or a lawyer. You're a reminder that I failed as a mother." "So you erased me?" "I improved the photos, made them what they should have been, a family with one daughter who actually made something of her life." The guests were horrified. Even people who'd been skeptical of my claims were looking at my mother with disgust. Claire had been silent until now. She stepped forward. "Mom, what the fuck is wrong with you?" "Claire, stay out of this." "No, Olivia is my sister. She's always been my sister. And you're standing here in front of everyone admitting you erased her from family photos because she didn't live up to your expectations? Do you hear how insane that sounds?" "You don't understand." I understand that you're abusive. I understand that you've always favored me and it damaged both of us. I understand that Olivia deserved better, and I was too afraid of losing your approval to stand up for her. But I'm standing up now. What you did is unforgivable." My mother looked around at the crowd of relatives, all of them staring at her with various expressions of shock, anger, and disgust. She realized she'd lost. The gaslighting wouldn't work anymore. Too many witnesses, too much evidence. She turned and walked into the house. My father followed her. The party continued, but the mood was somber. People came up to me, apologized for not believing me sooner, expressed their horror at what my mother had done. My cousin asked, "Are you okay?" "I don't know. I proved I wasn't crazy. I proved she really did this, but I still don't understand why. Because she's sick, because she's cruel, because some parents are more concerned with image than with loving their kids." Claire hugged me. We stood there in the backyard of our childhood home, surrounded by evidence of our mother's betrayal, and cried together. The aftermath was swift and brutal. The story spread through the extended family like wildfire. My mother became a pariah. People stopped accepting her invitations. They stopped inviting her to events. Her own sister, my Aunt Marie, told her she was disgusted and didn't want contact unless she got serious psychological help. My father divorced her 6 months later. He told me, "I knew something was wrong. I knew it was cruel, but I didn't think it was my place to interfere. I was a coward. I'm sorry." He moved out, got his own apartment, started therapy. We rebuilt our relationship slowly. He couldn't undo his complicity, but he acknowledged it and genuinely tried to make amends. My mother never apologized, never acknowledged wrongdoing. Instead, she doubled down, created a Facebook post claiming she was the victim of a vindictive daughter who'd orchestrated a family conspiracy against her. Except by then, too many people knew the truth. Her post got 0 supportive comments and dozens calling her out. She deleted it within hours. She eventually moved to another state, Arizona, where she could start fresh with people who didn't know about the photo incident. I heard through the grapevine that she tells people there she only has one daughter, Claire. I don't exist in that narrative either. Claire and I became closer after everything came out. She apologized for years of complicity, for benefiting from favoritism, for not standing up sooner. "I knew Mom treated you differently. I knew it was wrong, but I liked being the favorite. I liked being the good daughter. I'm sorry. You were a victim too. She turned us against each other. But I went along with it. I should have been your ally, and I wasn't. I'm sorry." We meet for lunch once a month now. She introduces me to her kids as your Aunt Olivia, who is brave and strong. She keeps photos of us together prominently displayed in her home. She's making up for lost time. I'm in therapy, obviously. Dr. Williams specializes in family trauma and gaslighting abuse. She's helped me understand that what my mother did wasn't about me, it was about her. She couldn't accept that you made different choices than she wanted, so instead of dealing with her disappointment, she erased you. It's a form of psychological violence. Will I ever understand why? Maybe not, but understanding why isn't as important as understanding that it wasn't your fault. You didn't make her do this. Her own issues, her own need for control, her own inability to love unconditionally, that made her do this. You were just the target. I'm 33 now, 2 years past the barbecue confrontation. I still have the evidence boards. I keep them in my storage unit, along with printouts of every original photo. I don't look at them often, but I need to know they exist. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that I was there. Proof that I existed. I changed my last name legally, took my grandmother's maiden name, Sullivan. I didn't want to carry my mother's name anymore. I've built a good life. My graphic design business is thriving. I've got a solid friend group who know the whole story and think my mother is a monster. I'm dating someone kind who thinks my family history is tragic, but also thinks I'm incredible for surviving it. Most days I'm okay. Some days I look at family photos, the real ones with me in them, and feel this profound sadness, not for me now, but for the child I was, the girl who grew up with a mother who was so disappointed in her that she eventually decided to pretend she didn't exist. That little girl deserved better. To anyone out there experiencing family erasure, whether it's Photoshop or just emotional distance, whether it's being left out of group chats or being uninvited from events, whether it's subtle or blatant, I want you to know you're not crazy, you're not imagining it, and it's not your fault. Some parents are incapable of loving children who don't meet their expectations. Some parents are so invested in their own image that they'll sacrifice their children to maintain it. Some parents are just cruel, and you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them a relationship. You don't owe them the benefit of the doubt. You owe yourself truth. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself the knowledge that you existed, you exist, and you will continue to exist, whether or not they acknowledge you. My mother can hang whatever photos she wants in her house in Arizona. She can tell people she only has one daughter. She can rewrite history in her mind. But I have the truth. I have the evidence. I have the people who were there and remember. I exist. I always existed, and no amount of Photoshop can change that. My name is Olivia Sullivan. My mother erased me from every family photo in her house because I didn't become the daughter she wanted. She replaced me with empty space and gaslit everyone who questioned it. But I fought back. I proved the truth. I survived her cruelty, and I'm building a life where I'm seen, valued, and loved for exactly who I am. Some families are bound by blood. Some families are bound by love. Mine was bound by manipulation and appearances, so I cut those bonds and built my own family, one that doesn't require me to disappear to exist in their world.